The great NDC who is here, all our comrades seated at the high table, members of parliament who are here, former ministers who are present, former leaders of our party, Nime, Name, our cadres, all of you sons and daughters of this great nation and also of the party NDC. We want to thank you for making this day a reality. I look forward to a day where NPP will be seated on this stage with us when we celebrate days of this nature. Because the country requires that this patriotic understanding become the bedrock for the whole of the nation. Because sometimes our own people tend to hide under these principles and create impression as if we are perfect and they are not. It is true that what we just witnessed on December 7th was Ghana coming together versus the NPP. The reason was because NPP went to the extreme and totally believed that this country had become their personal property. So the arrogance was unprecedented. The lie was unprecedented. The selfishness became totally unparalleled. We've never seen that level of greed and selfishness. The corruption, the decadence, the depravity, totally unheard of. And in the midst of all that, the policies were not spot on. So poverty became endemic. The poverty in the heart of Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia and his government spread across the whole country. So naturally, the soul of Ghana will rebel. That's why NDC comrades, when we celebrate, I want us not to forget that this victory essentially has been the victory of the soul of Ghana against the decadence of the NPP. And just as Ghana rallied against NPP, if we don't understand it, it will not be long. The soul of Ghana will rally against the NDC as well. That's why what my sister Zaneto said, I could not repeat it enough. That this actually is not just a moment of celebration, but it's also a moment of deep reflection. A moment to understand that we have reached a stage where we need to start transcending me versus them. Ghana has to start becoming the center of all we do. There are good people in the NPP. And we need to find ways to celebrate those good people and urge that they gradually take over the party so that that party becomes just as virtuous as we are trying to make the NDC, so that we can have two parties that both care and love this country and believe in truth for the sake of the future of our country. I know I'm expected as General Secretary to wish that NPP remain in the doldrums, remain totally kaput for life. But that's not my wish for Ghana. Because I know exactly who we are as human beings. The moment the other side that is supposed to keep you in check is no more, the tendency is for power to enter into the heads and the consciousness of our own people. And before you realize, the same depravity we complain about becomes the order of the day within our own party. So we must remain grounded. We must remain humble. We must understand the enormity of the challenge that is ahead of us. Ghana is not expecting perfection from John Mahama and the NDC. There is no perfect government. And Ghana is not expecting that somehow a miracle will happen overnight. And this country will become a country full of milk and honey. I believe what Ghana wants are leaders who will give all they can for the well-being of our people. Leaders who have the courage to accept the truth when truth has to be accepted. Leaders who will not lie to the country that somehow the problem being faced is coming from Russia and Ukraine and from COVID, when it's clear that the leadership is not performing well. And as General Secretary, on behalf of the leadership of the party, I can give a clear promise that we will not allow that politics of deception to become the order of the day. The truth must be spoken. There's nothing wrong with accepting when you have it wrong. There's nothing wrong accepting it. Accepting it that I got this wrong is not weakness, it's actually strength. It also means that even in our quest for positions as we win, we must be conscious of the well-being of Ghana. 8 years have seen nothing but selfishness and greed. And that selfishness is all about me and me and me, and not about Ghana. Now, so if today, all you are thinking about is me and me and me, what I can get, it means you don't even understand the victory that we have just got. Every night, every morning when you wake up, your consciousness should be, what can we do to ensure that we deliver on the promises for the people? That we bring a new paradigm that becomes a foundation for tomorrow. Not a constant calculation, what can I get? And if I get that, what can I profit? If that's what you're about, you are not different from the degenerate and the decadent souls that have governed this country over the last 8 years. Who thought that all they had to do was to amass and acquire and get everything for themselves, and everybody can go to hell. That is why, NDC, we must appreciate the bar must be higher. The bar cannot be lowered. Nana Akufo-Addo cannot become the standard bearer. Bawumia cannot become the barometer. NAPO, together with the rest of them, cannot become the ways in which we benchmark ourselves. Our benchmark must be higher. We must look to that flame that blazes. That flame that blazed both on June 4 and 31st. And remember, we have a mission. And that mission is about our country becoming a place that can be considered to be the land of the free and the home of the just. Because that's what we say, that we have freedom and justice. That we must work to empower our people to give them the freedom that they need to become what they were born to be. And to be a land that fights for justice. And justice means those who are supposed to occupy a position must occupy. The position should not be taken from one who deserves to give to another person just because he's my friend or he's my brother or he's my family member. It must not be. It might mean also that you should not only be thinking about yourselves. You must be thinking about what works to everybody's advantage. And I want to say that this beautiful country is on a forward march. And there's nothing that is going to hold it back. And those who can understand where Ghana ought to go, you clearly must appreciate that what is happening on December 7th is a signal to everybody that Ghana will simply not tolerate this anymore. When Senator mentioned the old man's speech many years ago, the final part of what he read was that a time will come where we will understand that enough is enough. And I think on December 7th, the soul of Ghana screamed and said, Ghana, enough is enough. Simply taking advantage of one political party, the other, to continue doing the same thing must be over. The quiet, secret belief that, you know what, they've had their 8 years, it's now our 10. We now have to make sure we maximize it. And the things we hear, that you guys, last time you didn't know how to govern. MPP has come to show you how to govern. And when you hear that, what they are trying to tell you is that MPP has come to show you how to be corrupt, to be degenerate, to be selfish, and to think only about yourselves. And you hear members of my party telling us that we must do like them. It means you don't know where we are coming from. You don't know exactly the foundation that we stand upon and where this country ought to go. Comrades, it's the last day of 2024. We have a lot to be grateful to God for. God has been good to our country. This country could have absolutely descended into chaos. But some way, somehow, the soul of Ghana is so mighty. And that soul spoke to the people of Ghana. NDC were just a vehicle through whom the soul of Ghana manifested defiance in order to make sure a signal is sent once and for all to anyone in government that you dare not use government to become a place where you think only about yourselves and forget about the well-being of the country. So on this day, we want to not just thank God for what has happened, especially in December 7, but above all, the fact that Ghana has literally risen. And Ghana is signaling to all of us that we need to do better into the future. We pray that 2025 will usher us into a whole new paradigm. We hope that John Dramani Mahama will rise to that challenge, and all of us will support him to set a tone to become a new way into the future. A future that goes beyond just NDC and MPP politics, but a future that becomes fundamentally about patriotism, about people who love their country, people who put their country first before thinking about themselves, people who ensure that mediocrity does not become the way to go. Where MPP did one, I've done two, I'm better. No. Ghana requires maximum. So ours is to push for that maximum all the time and hope that becomes a competition for excellence for the well-being of our country. We want to thank you for standing firm behind us and for working hard to ensure that the victory has been achieved. But the job is about to begin. The next few days, we'll go through some celebrations. An announcement will be coming very soon as to series of programs that we want to do between now up to the 5th of January. So those announcements will reach you out very soon. We need, especially all of you at the constituency level, to start getting ready because we have programs that are going to happen simultaneously across the 276 constituencies. We also will let you know exactly what plans we have regarding the inauguration day. Those announcements will be made. But before I sit down, let me just read the opportunity to thank all of you, to wish you the very best for the new year, to wish our beloved country best of fortunes. Let Ghana become what this country was meant to be. A place for true justice and for true freedom for all of its people. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Thank you.